Welcome to Come Heal Yourself with Monica Goyle on OMTimes Radio. Monica is a spiritual counselor and healer with a life purpose to put people in touch with their innate healing abilities, empowering them to live a life full of joy, love, peace, and abundance. Through this show, you'll learn to heal every aspect of your life by connecting to your higher self. And now your host, Monica Goyle.
Welcome back. Today is the first day of Navratri and we are here with a very special guest who's back with us to talk about the coming 3 years and what awaits us spiritually. Let's welcome Dr. Paul Haider. Welcome, Dr. Paul.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you? Thank you so much for coming back.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I really enjoyed it last time, and I'm looking forward to this talk today.
Awesome. We are very much here to learn more from you, and we definitely want to know what we can do to prepare ourselves and what's waiting us. And just to, we might have new listeners, so I want to make a brief introduction. Dr. Paul Haider is an author and speaker in the areas of spirituality and herbalism for over 30 years. And he has written so many books, including Relax into Success, a guidebook of wisdom, and 21 Ways to Live a Stress-Free Life. In only 21 days, a book showing you a shortcut to getting rid of stress. And his new book is called The Seventh Avatar, about the last avatar, spreading the word about love throughout the world. And you will be amazed to know that Dr. Paul shares his wisdom and does his amazing sessions all for free on Skype. So I would definitely encourage you to benefit from his wisdom. He's been giving so much, and I'm very grateful to him for today. Welcome, Dr. Paul.
Oh, thank you. It's very interesting. I had some people call me yesterday, and they wanted to promote me. And they came back, and they called a little while later, and they said, wow, you do a lot.
Yes, you do.
You should be a saint. I said, oh, yeah, right.
Well, you do. You do. I mean, we are so grateful, Dr. Paul.
Oh, thank you. It's about giving love, and, there's, like we were talking about before we started here, that there's a reciprocal of love that's going on, you know what I mean? I give love, and people give love back to me, and what more can you add? There's Dr. Nemi in Cleveland. He's a great healer. He asks nothing. He just prays over people, and all of a sudden they're healed. Look at John of God in Brazil. He has nothing, and he has amazing healings, 300 people a day.
Wow.
This is the future. We will be helping everyone for free, and the wealth of the world will be distributed to everyone so that we don't have to worry about surviving. And so this great
That's what we are looking forward to.
We're looking at 2025 to 3025. These will be what was called moving into the golden years. And this is what I want to talk about first is the recap of our last program. We're moving into that direction. Ayurvedic astrology, all the other astrologers are talking about this. I go to see my Ayurvedic astrologer every year, and we're moving in to this golden age. We'll start to see medicine move us to a place of being able to live 200 years old or older.
Wow.
We will start to see all the diseases in the world start to be, they'll be gotten rid of completely, be healed. What we're seeing that, things like pharmaceutical companies basically will kind of end, and we'll see medicine and all that type of thing be free to the public and everyone. We will see science moving to heal what's the problems of the world, and we will see that they will work in communion with the common man to make life better on this planet, heal, climate change, and to feed all the people, house all the people, and make everything well on this planet. And we will see spirituality grow in an amazing way. All religions will come together, and they will not be fighting any longer. They will come together and meld, and they will still be separate, but they will be embracing one another and saying, "You are my brother."
Wow, I am so feeling that energy of golden age. So waiting for it, and I'm sure everyone is.
There will be amazing changes. There will be economic changes also, because we will be start to, have the common man be able to go out and do whatever he wants to do and to work with his own passions inside to create a better life for everyone. And thus, amazing changes will happen. The first man to find out that there were pathogens in our water, he has no claim to fame whatsoever. And he actually went to work for I think it was the Chicago Waterworks, and became the head person there. And then one day he decided, well, I know about chlorine, and I know this will kill all the pathogens. And he started putting chlorine in the water. And then all the rest of the companies around the world, all the United States, started putting chlorine in the water to keep down disease, and disease amazingly so. So we will see unsung heroes giving of their time and energy to make the world a wonderful place.
How beautiful that would be. Amazing. So what about the coming 3 years?
The coming 3 years, that we have exactly what we have right now. I had people call me last week, and they're all upset. And I had people from London and people from India, people from all over the world call me. I'm pretty amazed, actually, if people call me from that far away. And they're upset about it. The man in London said, we've had a lot of beggars on the streets, and I've always given them money, but we're seeing so many people now, and I don't know what to do. What do you say, Dr. Haider? And I said, send them prayers, send them love, because we're seeing more immigrants moving, more refugees moving than even when we had World War II. Later upheaval. And we're just on the BBC now that we have a bigger amount of hunger in the world than we've ever seen before. We're actually in Ayurvedic astrology moving into these 3 years where we're moving up to some hard times. I'll just have to put it out there straight, but we have to look beyond that to 2025 and see the good things and keep our mind focused on that. First of all, these are not my predictions. These are coming from the saints and gurus of the world and astrology. And they're saying, first of all, next year we'll see a huge earthquake in Pakistan. It will devastate the country. 2017, we will see a huge bombing of all the Middle East, taking down everything. And then 2018, we will see nuclear war on the planet. And 2.5 billion people will disappear within seconds. And 2.5 billion people will suffer and then die. And then we'll be left with 2.5 billion people. But we cannot dwell upon that.
But why does that need to happen?
Because man is not connecting and loving the God within man. We're not loving their neighbor as thyself, you know what I mean? And every spiritual book, it talks about this, but we're not doing it. We have so much, we were talking about this earlier, we have so much fear about loving anybody or connecting with anybody or trusting anybody. So you have gotten to a point which is totally the opposite of what the spiritual texts are talking about. And we are this collective conscious which is driving everything. We have the chance. We still do have the chance. The chances of this happening are 98%. But we can change all this, because that 2% is, if we were to come together and start praying and start meditating on love, we could change everything. It would take about 8 million people to start every day meditating 2 hours a day on love, and we could change it all.
So that's profound. That says something about our energy.
Yeah,
how much power we have.
We have a huge amount of power. If you take one human cell and go down into the atomic area of the cell where there are quarks moving around, flashing in and out of existence, everything in that cell is the power of multiple atomic bombs in that one cell. And we have billions of these in every single human being. We are so powerful, it's beyond imagination. And if we drive that into love, nothing can stop us. There have been so many actual studies showing, hundreds in fact, that if we were to meditate, they took about 4,000 people and they went to Washington, D.C., and they had to meditate on peace. The crime rate dropped 25% overnight.
Wow.
And it's been done hundreds upon hundreds of times with this exact same results. We know this is true. For some reason, it's not getting out to the populace, or the people just don't really think so. But this is a scientific study showing that this is happening. And we need to gather together and bring humanity together to make this change happen. Either way, we will win. The soul is eternal. You know, the consciousness of man is eternal. We go on forever. We do not stop once this body, ends. As many near-death experiences as equated to this, and even Dr. Poole, which was a great skeptic of the whole thing and did thousands upon thousands of studies of near-death experiences, he finally came to the conclusion that there is an afterlife and there is something that changes after we go to the other side. And he became a total believer. And also there are shared near-death experiences. People are standing around a bed and this person dies, and they see the light in the tunnel and the experience of them reliving their life.
And yeah, this is amazing, and we will come back to this after a short break. Please stay tuned.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Come heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is nothing but connecting to your all-knowing higher self that already has solutions to all your problems and is always there to guide you. Through this show, we help you to connect with that you are and help you realize the innate potential you have to heal every aspect of your life. So come heal yourself every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, with your host, Monica Goyal. Namaste.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Mark and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience and all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
And we are back. Welcome back,
Hello
Dr.
again.
Paul.
I was talking about this. We go on, the shared experience of being around the bed of somebody dying, and they die, and everybody around that bed shares the experience of them going through the tunnel, seeing this magnificent being, and actually seeing their life and kind of reviewing their life, and it's shared with all those people. How can that be? It is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
These have been documented. They're not very common, but they do happen. So we have this ability to, even if everything goes in the way I hope it doesn't go, we will be in bliss, and we'll be in the light.
So, sorry to interrupt. I was just saying, so, I mean, we definitely want to know, and everyone wants peace on this earth, and, people live in love and hope. So I guess that's why you were here, to let us know what all we can do to realize that power within ourselves and live a loving life in this chaos.
First of all, we have to really start living our spirituality. A lot of people, say they're spiritual, but, they get angry all the time, or they say they're spiritual and they, cheat their friends, or they say they're spiritual and they, cheat on their taxes and stuff like this. That's not being spiritual. Spiritual is actually living love on the inside out. And so we have to, in negotiations with people, we have to be loving and kind, and not just in, our families, but everybody in the world has to connect and start living this way. We have to start allowing ourselves to trust, which is probably the crux of everything.
Mm-hmm.
We have to start trusting other people. We have to see, every time we look at somebody, we have to say, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad. We have to see that in every heart, because there is a light inside every heart where God dwells. And it may be covered up with a lot of soot, but if we take our arm and, kind of spread that off and make that come off, that soot, there is that light shining inside. And we have to be able to penetrate with our mind's x-ray to see that light and know that it exists there. And that is God that we are speaking with.
Mm-hmm.
And if we allow ourselves to do that, things will start to change. We'll start to see a difference in this world. It's not easy, but
Mm-hmm.
it's about since the beginning of the beginning, to love thy neighbor as thyself. And I think it's more important to love thy enemy.
Mm-hmm. No, I think, Dr. Paul, like you said, we all are so powerful within, right? If we, I guess it starts with loving even ourselves. I don't even feel we love ourselves unconditionally and in totality. We judge ourselves.
There's a man across the street is an alcoholic, and he just went into detox. They put him in the hospital for a while, and I have to say this man has a huge challenge of loving himself. Really, that's the crux of all things. If we can love ourselves, we can get through anything. If we can love ourselves, we can start loving other people. But if we don't love ourselves, there's no way to love anybody else. So that's one of the major things that we have to get through with. One of my rituals in the morning is to look in the mirror and say, I love you, Paul. I love you, Paul. I love you, Paul. I like you, Paul. I like you, Paul. I like you, Paul. I love you, God. I love you, God. I love you, God. And many, many others. And, many people, when I use this in therapy with people, counseling, and they look in the mirror, a lot of them start crying automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Few of them start laughing out loud. They can't do it. And I have to say that's about 80% of the people can't do it.
Yeah.
Because they really don't love themselves, and they don't even want to try. And I've had a lot of people sitting in my chair here or online on Skype tell me directly, straight up, I will not forgive myself. I will never forgive myself.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally I am with you. I mean, there is so much unforgiveness towards our own selves about our own actions, whatever we did or whatever we feel we did.
Yep. Sometimes it's not like you said, it's feel we do. It's a lot of times it's not even real. But we tend to look at it in such a way that we, demean ourselves and call ourselves unworthy. It's so that to that point that we don't love ourselves. And that creates problems because then we start taking that feeling of not being worthy and transferring it into anger and anger into hatred, and then we start stepping out in the world and causing problems.
So tell us, Dr. Paul, when we are here, and of course, this is what we all need to do, vibrate with that love. So any tools, any practices that you can suggest us that we do, even if, even if we don't feel it, even if it doesn't resonate with us to start with, or doesn't feel to be true for us, but probably with time it sinks in?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of practices to do. I could go on forever, actually. The first one I really feel that everyone should do, even if it's just for their body, is to learn meditation. And meditation, we now know from the study of epigenetics, it actually changes our genes, and our genes turn off bad genes and turns on good genes, so we become healthier. But not only that, but we start actually digesting some of the stuff that we hold inside as the negativity, and it comes to light and it's brought forth and it is embraced with love. I highly recommend people doing like a 10-day free Vipassana meditation retreat. If you look those up online, Google that, you'll find them. And even the food and the lodging is free. And the first 3 days you're going, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And then after about the fourth, fifth day, there's a breakthrough. And all of a sudden you're wheeling free and you're feeling great about yourself and things change inside. And if everybody were to do that, this would be a whole different planet.
So what happens in those 3 days? Like, why is there so much resistance, or is it like all the pain coming up, or?
People are not in touch with themselves. They are really not in touch with themselves. They use this in some prisons in India. There's actually the Vipassana meditation, and then they took this to the warden there of the prison, and they said, you know what, I think we can change your prisoners and make them amazingly different by the time they walk out. And the warden goes, I don't think so. We have some of the most hardened criminals in the world here. Give it a try. Let's just give me a chance, will you? And he said, okay. So they brought in a few hundred prisoners, and they did 10 days of meditation. That's 6 to 8 hours of meditation every day. And by the time those people walked out, when they first went in, they were like, society is the problem. I'm not the problem. You guys are screwing up. You put me in here and all that kind of stuff. When they walked out, they go, I messed up. I should be here. I'm doing my time. I need to change my ways. Things are, there was problems and I didn't handle it right. They became totally changed people. And instead of having 85% of them recycle and come back to prison when they get out, 85% of them stay out of prison and never come back.
Wow.
So looking inside in silence is powerful. It will change people, and they will never, ever be the same. And sometimes this is so scary for people that they don't know how to deal with it. They're like, oh, no, I'm not going to that. I don't want to know my true self, that type of thing. But it's really only gifts that you find. And when people really connect with that, it is amazing. I think most people have never done 10 days of silence. And, there's no cell phones, no computers, nobody to talk to. All the meals are in silence, everything. And you really get to know who you are deep down inside. And all that unworthiness, it comes bubbling to the top, and it's healed with love. From that point on, only great things happen.
Yeah, because you are healed yourself. And that love, that connection to love is once again felt.
Yeah, we finally get all the mind chatter out of the way so we can finally connect to the love which is really there. It's the soot is wiped away so the light can burn brightly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we feel that love in a deep way.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm a true believer. I'm a follower of Sai Baba.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a bit of a Buddhist.
Yeah.
I believe that, we need to do rituals of chanting and singing songs and do daily prayers. And I think it's very important to put time in on our spirituality every day.
And I mean, whatever our faith is, doesn't matter, whoever we feel connected with, but just spending time, feeling that connection and that strength that comes from it.
Right, whether you're a believer in Jesus, a Buddha, Muhammad, any, it doesn't really matter. It's connection to the divine, which is all important. And it really keeps us on our path towards doing what we know is right in our heart. And from there, everything moves smoothly. Mm-hmm. And it's not about making money. It's about, doing what we know is right inside. And when we connect to ourselves in love, we start doing everything with love in our life. Mm-hmm. And from there, everything in the world would change. There is no doubt about it. We would change life on this planet forever. But we need to do introspection. We need to do the prayer, no matter what our spiritual, perspective is, to do some chanting or singing out loud, to, put the time in the silence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And we will continue our discussion after a short break.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
If you remember living fearlessly, joyfully, and in a world filled with adventure, happiness, pleasure, and unbridled living, then this show is for you. Join me, Dame Nicole Brandon, as I bring you the world's top experts in wealth, creativity, flow, seat-edging technology, space, wellness, health, love, lust, and passion, all merging together each week here at the Hub of Happiness. Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Passionate Living, where you can ride on the magic carpet ride of living and learn how to lead a passionately wild, exciting, and outrageously amazing life.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
What if living didn't have to be so serious?
What if you could move beyond your problems with greater confidence and ease than you've ever imagined?
Throw your labels out the window and join the Irreverent Therapist for practical tips and a very different way of approaching the changes you would like to create.
Marilyn Bradford
and Pam Hodling
have empowered hundreds of people to come out of self-judgment, quit looking to experts, and begin to create the lives they desire.
Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Irreverent Therapist Show.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Back. Welcome back, everyone. So, Dr. Paul, how can we protect ourselves spiritually?
First of all, I think I was just thinking about that on the break. It's important that we filter everything that we watch and are connected with, because here's, for instance, I don't watch regular TV at all. I watch movies on Netflix or something like that, but documentaries. But I was over at a friend's, and they were watching, and they had closed captioning on. There was some program coming up, and all of a sudden there was this rock music. And in the rock music, the words came up to it, and it said, "Kill the cops, kill the cops." And I was like, what? And I said to my friend, "Do you see what that's saying?" Mm-hmm. And we're being infiltrated in our minds all the time with stuff that's just not good. And we need to consciously fill our minds with loving things instead of the stuff which is causing the opposite to happen. And it's out there. We just have to be conscious of that stuff being around us all the time. And so we have to filter that out on a regular basis. So make sure we go to movies which are uplifting, listen to music which is uplifting, be around people which are uplifting. Don't allow ourselves to fall into crowds which cause problems. I know a kid that just got into drugs because he fell into the wrong crowd, and he comes from a wonderful family. Mm-hmm. But he fell into the wrong crowd. Oh, try this, try that, and all of a sudden he was in the hospital and almost died. So we have to be cognizant of what we are around and allowing ourselves to be influenced by every day.
But when it comes to kids, isn't it really hard? Parents are not with the kids all the time. So how do we prevent that? How do we protect?
It's actually a learning lesson, because this kid was not spiritual before, and after this happened, he became a very spiritual kid, and he started asking his mother and father, "Please go to church with me." That's what happened. Sometimes these lessons have to be learned in order for things to change, and that's why we're on this planet. We were here for the learning lessons, and we go through life to ascend as we go from lifetime to lifetime and learn things that uplift us and finally get to a point of being pure love. Mm-hmm. We are all going in that direction. We will all get there, but we have these learning lessons to deal with along the way that will help us to take the next step up the ladder. Mm-hmm. So it's really important. Also, I've seen a lot of people who were not spiritual lately all of a sudden have a divine calling. And they were becoming ministers and spiritual orators and different people like this. And luckily I had a little chance to, help push them in the right direction. And they've all had some kind of powerful experience of learning lessons that were powerful, hard lessons that rocked their world to a point where they moved and to the beat of a new drummer and became very spiritual people. Sometimes, even in my own life, I've had those hard lessons that were very difficult, and those are important because they change our whole paradigm. And when we change our paradigm, we can change the outcome of the world. And this is important. We tend to think we come here to just have, a great time and everything's supposed to be hunky-dory all the time, but, we would never ascend up the ladder that way. There are lessons to be learned, and every time we have one of those tough lessons, it helps us to climb one more notch up the ladder. And I think I know that with all my heart. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. And the more we become spiritual and loving and kind, the more we climb that ladder. And when we actually attract, like a magnet, all kinds of people around us, which become loving and kind. But we will also attract those people who are searching. Mm-hmm. Because, a magnet and metal, iron, which is rusting away, it's going to find that magnet like a rusty beam in a building. It needs that. And so I know a lot of people now, especially young kids, who are very spiritual, and they're attracting a lot of people who are in need, lots of suffering. And so they are helping these people to ascend to a higher point. And it's not easy. Sometimes you have to be really grounded in your spirituality and be able to do that and help other people. Because if you're not, it's kind of like seeing somebody in suffering, and it's like them being way down in the bottom of a well. Well, we can jump in there with them, and we'll both be stuck. Or we can put down a ladder and help them to climb out. And jump in the well with them doesn't really accomplish anything. So we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves while we're helping others at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is looking for peace and love. So if you are emitting that energy, people will be automatically attracted to you because they are looking for it.
There's no doubt about that. I just had a priest come from Colorado, and he said, I don't know why, but I need to come visit you. He came and stayed a week and was asking questions, and he had a lot of stuff that he needed to deal with, and he kind of left being a different person because he needed to connect with somebody that understood the spiritual aspects and clear up some stuff from his past. And from there, he went on to be free of heart and start loving himself in a deeper way. And I think everybody needs that. I think he, needs to have what they call the Satguru. You find somebody that it's a spiritual that you can ask questions to, even if it's somebody you can email or somebody you can Skype with or you need somebody in the real world that you can connect to. It's great to have the spiritual people on the other side of the realm, on the other side of the veil, that you can connect to all the different avatars that have come. But sometimes we need somebody in this plane that we can connect to and help us. And not really looking for money or anything, but they want to genuinely help us on our path. And that's important. I've had a lot of people help me on my path. And it's important that we give back and make a difference in other people's lives. And every one of these people that came into my life never asked for a penny. And they always were willing to help and point me in the right direction. And in the end, it made me who I am today. And so we need to connect to spiritual people also in this world. I think that I'm very impressed with Pope Francis and the way he's changing life in the Catholic Church. And he's really saying the same thing, that we need to start loving ourselves. We need to start, changing the world one person at a time, and we can make this all be different. We need to embrace those that are coming, the refugees. We need to, measure everybody else by the same stick that we measure ourselves. We need to look at life from a whole different perspective. So, and there are many, many, many people just that same way. A lot of them are unsung heroes that never get to know. Right now we have 250,000 philanthropic organizations in the world which are doing great work.
Wow.
This is more than we've ever had before. Does anybody hear about them? No. It's important that we actually center our lives and focus on that and not about the bad things that are happening in the world also. Because if we focus on that and we look at the news every day, you're just going to be pulled down with the rest of it. And so we need to focus on the good stuff that's happening. Have a good
Surely. Yeah, I think that makes all the difference because that starts us thinking and feeling, and then we put out that energy of what's, it just keeps multiplying.
And every time we have a thought, we have micro bolts of energy in our brain that actually expended out into the universe. And we have what's called, entangled matter. And entangled matter means we were to take a little skin off my finger here, take that piece and cut it in two pieces, put one in a petri dish here, put one in a petri dish, take it 10 miles away. If we gave that little petri dish over here near me a shock, all of a sudden we'd see the other piece 10 miles away respond in like kind.
Mm-hmm.
We all connected. Everything is connected. You know, there was actually a study showing that 2 weeks before 9/11 happened, they had a computer program running for people to pick random cards. And it would run about 53%, a little bit above what would be normal 50-50, which would be what most people would think would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if 2 weeks before 9/11 happened, it dropped to 0.
Wow.
And it was like people didn't want to, they couldn't get a right card no matter what because they knew something was about to happen. And also, there have been studies showing that when we're going, you know, on the highway and all of a sudden we are about to have an accident, 2 seconds before the accident, our blood pressure goes up, we start to tense up, you know, our adrenaline starts rushing 2 seconds before it actually happens. We don't have a clue it's about to happen, but 2 seconds before it happens, we know something is about to happen. So we are connected in this collective consciousness. We have the ability to change everything right now. If we all come together as a collective mind of love and start meditating on love. And right now, a lot of people are feeling this huge amount of anxiety. What do you think it is? That's the anxiety of the world right now.
The mass consciousness, the mass energy that's building up.
And the mass energy, that we have to bring that from a place of anxiety down to a place of love.
Place of love, right. And we will discuss more in a bit, back after a short break.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome to The Gathering Around My Kitchen Table on Equilarium FM, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join my guests as we integrate spirituality into everyday reality with vibrant conversations, inspired interviews, and my latest channeled guidance to inspire and brighten your day. I'm Claire Johnson, and together we'll be raising vibrations across the nations.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Have you been searching for a perspective beyond the mainstream? Check it out. Join your hosts Cielito Pascual and Diana Gold Holland on Share International Radio for thought-provoking views behind the news, Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio. You can also find us at shareontheairradio.org. This may be the message of hope you've been waiting for.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids.
And we are back. So, Dr. Paul, I know you talked about Vipassana and going into meditation, but I know, I mean, for us who understand the benefits of meditation, have experienced it, would probably, be able to take a break, although it's not easy to take a 10-day break for a lot of us. So what can we do? Like, what are the simple tools, simple practices on a day-to-day basis that can keep us centered?
First of all, prayer, which is amazingly powerful. I just went to see Divine Mother Amma, and she talked about what's about to happen. And she said, what we need to do is pray. There's nothing else we can do, in fact, she said, other than pray and meditation. So she said, pray, pray, pray. And prayer is possible. They're powerful. We actually have some scientific studies showing, if we pray for one hospital, all of a sudden the patients in that hospital get out of the hospital sooner. There is so many scientific studies showing that prayer, in fact, I have some articles about it, showing that prayer have amazing capabilities. And so if we were just to pray every day, put in some time praying, that would make all the difference in the world. Start to understand the people around you and go visit your neighbors. Go talk to them. Create a friend there. Create a community. I have to say, when I got here and my wife, almost 17 years ago now, we didn't know anybody in this area hardly. And I have gone out and connected with everybody and, created friends with all these people. And now she's friends with them all, too. But that's what it takes, building community and building love among the people that you're around. And that is really important. Build your sense of community. Build your sense of love in this area that you live. And that's the crux of the world. We can change everything from the microcosm to the macrocosm if we allow ourselves to look at it that way.
And I remember you mentioned some chants and mantras that we can be practicing.
Yep. I think that one good one is just to say the name of God, whatever that name is, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, whatever it is, to say that name over and over and over again. That is really great for anxiety. Saying it silently in your mind, and saying it thousands upon thousands times a day will actually change your karma also. It is so powerful. And if you don't have a mantra, I recommend Shri Gurudev Datta.
And what does that mean?
It is really another name of God, a particular name which is made to change and uplift your karma. And saying that name over and over and over again will cleanse thy karma and uplift thy soul, and you will feel everything starts to fall into place all of a sudden. And you feel good about life. And all the negativity doesn't seem to connect with you anymore. And things change, even physically within your body, things start to change.
You mean we start moving towards health?
We start moving towards health. Yeah, I actually had some people come to me as herbal challenges with health problems, and they start saying the name of God over and over and over again. And it wasn't the herbs that cured them. It was the name of God that cured them. There's no doubt about it. And that's why we're seeing great healers come right now, like Dr. Nemi in Cleveland. He prays over people, and all of a sudden, amazing things happen. I mean, people are healed within, matter of moments. People are disfigured all of a sudden, and broken backs, and they have cancer all over their lungs. And he's been on Dr. Oz and actually show the X-rays and things, and how people are healed within a matter of minutes.
So he prays over people.
He prays over people, and he charges nothing. He's actually a doctor, an anesthesiologist, and his wife is also very powerful, Kathy. In fact, I'm going to go see him next month in November. And he asked for nothing, and amazing changes happened for people. There was a little girl that got her hand caught in a door, and all the flesh came off her fingers. This is like a 3-year-old. And the doctors wrapped it up and, gave her antibiotics and said, I don't think those fingers are going to survive. So they went to see Dr. Nemi, and he prayed over them. All of a sudden, they were healed.
Wow.
The flesh grew back. The fingers grew back. That was amazing.
Wow.
And then there's another little kid that had his feet disfigured. Like the toes are all squashed over each other. Dr. Nemi was moving his hands over the top of the toes on his foot, and right before their eyes, the foot flattened out and became a normal foot.
Wow.
I mean, and then John of God is pretty powerful.
Yeah. Oh my God, we have heard so many stories, so many healings happened.
These great healers are coming right now, and there is a lot more. They're coming now because we're in this process of the uplifting. And I highly recommend that anybody can go see one of these great healers. They will be uplifted if they believe or not. There was one man that went to see Dr. Nemi, and he just walked in the room and he saw these people. There was one man had a spine, his spine was broken and his spinal cord was completely severed, and he was in a wheelchair forever. And this man saw all of a sudden that his feet started moving by themselves. His legs started moving. And he was just like, wow, I can't believe this. It's just amazing. And that man was changed from that point on. And whatever you believe, it will change your life, no matter if you come from a place of faith or not. Because once you see miracles, you'll never be the same.
Yeah.
And be in that current room of John of God, just to sit in that current room, and he has a bunch of mediums that sit around that room, and there's energy that's just flowing. As John of God says, there is some thought, and Dr. Nemi also, there's one thought going on inside of yourself that is preventing health. And when that thought is changed, everything changes. And I believe that's the thought we need to change in the world.
Yeah.
And everything will change. When we change that thought for the world, everything will change. And nothing will be the same. We have the power.
We have the power.
We have the power. Now, man will choose. That's what we have to decide. Will we choose? That's what we have to decide. We only need 10% of the world population to choose, in fact. We will drag everybody else along. If we just grab, about 8 million people and have them meditate on love.
And I think, like you said, more and more people are meditating. More and more people are moving towards love and creating that peace around them and attracting more and more in their energy.
Yeah, like I said, we have this awakening that's happening right now. We are awakening. And we are awakening. We will awaken, and it is our destiny to awaken.
Yes.
And we will awaken. I'll put it that way. We will awaken. There's no doubt about it. Every time we go through our life, we'll awaken more. And I've been trying to awaken myself even more. I'm just at the beginning. But if we just allow ourselves to feel the divine presence in everything that we do, everything would change.
Awesome.
Allow that divine presence to be my words. Allow that divine presence to be my thoughts. Allow that divine presence to be my actions. And thus the world will be different.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul. So grateful to you, and as you guide us towards love and peace. And before we leave, I would like to let the listeners know they can find more about your work, and also, so much wisdom you have on your website, www.paulhaider.com. And also, you can look at his beautiful spiritual photography at www.phphotoart.com. And like I said, take benefit from his wisdom, connect with him over Skype for a free consultation, a free session. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Paul and all our friends, to be here. Really, really grateful for your presence, and have a blessed life.
Oh, thank you, Monica. Many blessings to you.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Dr. Paul.
Namaste.